My dad was a miner. We lived in Sutton in Ashfield, in the North Nottinghamshire coalfields. He worked at Bentinck Colliery, about 5 or 6 miles away, but he could have worked at any of the half-dozen collieries around us.
Mining. It is the career that shaped Nottinghamshire, dating back 750 years. With this long-standing history, there is a sense of community that was built alongside it. D.H. Lawrence came from this community as he was Arthur Lawrence's son. Arthur was primarily a butty, and no, I don't mean a bacon butty. Rather, he was a mining contractor who employed his own team to go back down the pits and worked alongside them. Lawrence is not the only one to have experienced life as a miner's kid. For instance, my grandma was part of this community, only 60 years later and 9 miles away from Lawrence's birthplace. My grandma's father was a miner, amongst other things that centred around the mining industry, but I'll let my grandma tell you the rest.
One of my earliest memories is of miners walking home from the early morning shift, still wearing black boiler suits and pit helmets, their hands and faces black with coal dust. There were no pit head baths then. Mum didn't want Dad to go down the mine. She thought it was too dangerous. So after the war, Dad started work at the coke ovens. One night shift, there was an explosion and Dad got caught in the fire. I remember seeing him getting out of an ambulance, still in his black boiler suit, his hands and head completely covered in white bandages. I never saw him in bandages again. I was sent to my grandma and granddad's till he was better. The good thing about our community, family were always close by to lend a hand in a crisis. When he was better, Dad went down the mine. He told Mum it couldn't be any worse than what he'd gone through. Miners worked 3 shifts on 3 weekly rotas, 6 till 2, 2 till 10, or 10 to 6. They would hand in their motty before getting into the cage, which took them to the bottom of the mine shaft. From there, they might have had to travel another 6 or 7 miles before starting work digging out the coal, sometimes lying flat on their stomachs or up to their waists in water. It was hard work, but it was good money in those days. If I was off school on a Friday, I would go with Dad to collect his pay. I liked that because his mate Bert used to give me 2 shillings from his pay packet. That would be 10p nowadays, but it was a lot of money when I was little. Dad was ambitious. He wanted to become a shop firer. I helped him to swap for his exams. I remember there was lots of stuff about first aid, which he learnt from a black linen-covered St John's Ambulance Handbook. Dad didn't stay a shop firer for long. He was allergic to the powder and got dermatitis. So he trained as a deputy. He had more responsibility, better pay, and the work wasn't so physical. When I was growing up, being surrounded by slag heaps seemed normal. We never thought the taste of coal in the air or the black dust Mum would wipe off the furniture was unusual. Nearly all my friends had a dad, uncle, granddad or brother who worked underground. We knew it was tough and dangerous, but it's what men did. And they were good times, like evenings in the miners' welfare. There would be a turn on Sunday nights, usually a singer, sometimes a comedian, and the miners' gala at Berry Hill every August bank holiday weekend. There were parades, brass bands, exhibitions and sports. People came from miles around. When he retired, Dad was given his miner's lamp, the one he carried every day of his working life. I keep it by the fireplace. It's got a few dents. I wonder how. It reminds me of Dad and where I grew up. When I first moved south, I didn't used to talk about my background. Folks in the south didn't understand, especially in the 70s during the miners' strikes. Nowadays, I talk proudly about my dad and what he did and the community I came from. They made me who I am.
Nottingham was home to many mining communities, my grandma being only part of the story. Although mining is no longer a career path, due to its long history, there is a statue in commemoration of the miners. It can be found on top of Silver Hill. Hopefully, after the troubling years we have had, we can learn something from these communities and build a better connection with the people around us.